Good evening, everybody. This is Naif with Mubarak Law. We are going to get started here shortly, and then we will have a special show for you today. So I'll just give everybody a couple minutes to join us. I hope everybody's doing well. And today I'm really excited to do this Facebook Live because we are going to focus on our hardworking team. So every couple of weeks, we hope to have you introduced to one of our team members so they could tell you what exactly they do and how they're doing it. So this is our very first Facebook Live that we are doing to meet the team. And I'm really excited, and I did not have to beg her to have Miss Kelly Dominguez here with us today. If everybody could say hello to Kelly, or Kelly, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Naya, for having me.
No problem. So Kelly is from our personal injury division, where she is a case manager on all of our car accident, dog bites, personal injury claims. And I know that many of you know us to be an excellent immigration firm, and you trust us with that. And I am honored to be known for that. But we also do handle personal injury, as our clients trusted us with their family members and their immigrant story here. They've also trusted us with their personal injury cases as well. So there's a couple things we're going to cover today, like such as fees for an attorney for contingency fee, some tips if you've been injured, and other things that we would like to discuss. But before we do that, this is a Meet the Team segment. So I want everybody to get to know Kelly because she does take her work very seriously. She has outstanding experience. And so Kelly, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are, besides smart, young, and under 30 years old with a master's degree, pursuing a law degree with legal experience. So who is Kelly when she's not achieving success with the academics?
So hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Dominguez. I was born in Mexico. My family immigrated to the United States when I was 5 years old. I grew up in New Jersey my whole life until I moved to Orlando about 2 years ago for law school. Prior to moving, I did have a lot of experience in a personal injury law firm from New Jersey and New York. They're very prominent with handling all types of personal injury cases, from hip replacements, automobile accidents, slip and falls, product liability cases. And I was working there with one of the founding partners about 3 years before I moved to Orlando for law school.
Okay, so you did mention that you were born in Mexico and you immigrated to the United States. So do you remember what that process was like with your family?
Yes, it was actually very stressful, especially because at the beginning we didn't hire a good lawyer. My family did not really speak English. So finding a good lawyer was a little bit difficult. It was very stressful during that period of time, but especially working with NIAF, I've really learned how serious we do take our immigration cases in the firm, because you really are handling the most important part of someone's life. And I think having someone that really understands what you're going through really gives an ease for our clients that are going through that situation.
So you went through the process, and you know that it's very difficult for your family and firsthand. How come you kind of ended up in a different field? Like, why aren't you pursuing representing immigrants or migrants, or any reason why?
When I first was actually during my interview with NIAF, I actually told them that I did want to learn some immigration. It was really interesting to me how he was on the news and he had all these credentials with immigration. But myself, I think it's very emotional, because I've gone through it, and I know there's times where you feel that you're helpless, especially with what's going on with the government. So for me personally, it would just be too personal to be able to help someone, and I can't give them the outcome that they need right away.
And I know for a lot of people who went through the immigration process, it's kind of something they don't even like to talk about anymore because it was so stressful. But so we're here now, and I am happy that you have chosen the path of personal injury. And so what we want to talk about is, what does a case look like? Kind of give you guys a behind the scenes of what is the process of handling a personal injury case. So what is, personal injury? So, you hear about the car accidents, if a slip and fall or trip and fall, and there's even dog bites. In Florida, dog bites are strict liability. So you can pursue several different forms of personal injury claims, and we can represent you or any individual against the insurance companies or whoever caused, who's liable for your injuries and your damages. So, Kelly, you mentioned that you worked in New York and New Jersey in these types of civil litigation claims. Was it the same setup, or like how much do people pay for their lawyers in New Jersey or New York?
So the contingency fee is the same. It's 33 and 1/3. The only difference is the litigation. The pricing doesn't change once the case gets filed with litigation. And up in New Jersey and New York, it's a little bit different. Our firm, everything pretty much got prepared to go into suit. It didn't really settle pre-suit. So that's the mainly difference that I've seen with the cases.
Okay, so for those who are just joining us, we are with Kelly for our Meet the Team. She's our first episode, and we're discussing personal injury because that's the area where she works with us at Mubarak Law, and contingency fee. So for those who don't understand, contingency fee means you're not paying your attorney upfront for any case of representation. So it really breaks my heart. Sometimes we hear somebody was injured and they decide, I don't have money for a lawyer. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't do this. But a contingency means, like, unless you recover a settlement, there is going to be no pay to the attorney. That's why a lot of times attorneys will give you, a very straight opinion whether or not you have a right to a claim, because if you're not going to recover, they're not going to get paid. Kelly, would you mind telling our viewers in Spanish a little bit about that in contingency fee and in car accidents?
Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Kelly Dominguez. En la oficina estoy manejando los casos de lesiones. Entonces, cuando usted tenga un caso de lesiones, no necesita pagar por el abogado. Si no recuperamos dinero por usted, no nos tiene que pagar. Así es como trabaja el caso. Entonces, normalmente cuando ustedes nos contratan como abogados, nosotros trabajamos en su caso, y si podemos recuperar por el caso, a nosotros nos pagan. Si no podemos recuperar, no tiene que pagar por el abogado. Gracias.
Thank you, Kelly. So in Arabic, I'll give it a try. Contingency fee means basically ما راح تدفعوا إلا إذا إجاكم تعويض. So unless we recover a settlement, you're not paying the attorney. So we do represent many immigrants and foreign nationals in our office. So sometimes people ask me, well, like, hey, Naif, I have a pending asylum case. I have a pending immigration case. I'm not a citizen. Can I pursue a car accident case? And Kelly, have you ever assisted me or your old firm in representing somebody without status in the United States?
Yes, I have in a couple of cases because they have the same rights to bring a claim like anyone else. So usually the way that I handle them, me personally as a case manager, I am a lot more careful with their cases to make sure that their privacy is always of the most of importance, that insurance companies do not know that they are undocumented in the United States.
Right. And a lot of times people, I'll tell my clients, hey, you've lost work, you've lost wages because of your injury. We want to claim that. And again, it's sad when somebody feels like they can't claim that or their employer takes advantage of their status. But for those who are listening, whether you're being taken advantage of in employment law for your wages or you've been hurt on the job, you have a right to a claim. I don't care if you have status or not. Contact us. We'll put you either, if we can take the personal injury case or get you to an employment law attorney. Please just, know that you have options. And with our personal injury potential clients, we don't have any consultation fee. There's no fee when we take your case, only when we settle the particular case. So let's just talk about what the process looks like. And let's say, God forbid, you're in an accident, You now retained our office. Kelly, what's the first thing that you do for somebody who has retained our firm and has we now want to initiate their car accident personal injury case?
Sure. So after the client has retained our firm, we make sure that we have all the injuries and all the information that we need to process a claim for our client. So we will then send out letters of representation to their insurance adjusters at their insurance, which could be their PIP insurance, to put them on notice to make sure that there's payments made from their medical bills, as well as putting the other driver's insurance on notice. This way, it would prevent the other driver's insurance from contacting our client for any statements. And if they do need a statement, they obviously have to speak with us first before that can occur. Usually, we won't hear back from an insurance company for about 30 days, and then they will usually contact us to introduce themselves, and then from there, we will work with them until the demand is prepared.
Right. So the letter of representation, Kelly has mentioned a couple legal terminology in there, so I'll go ahead and try to explain it for those. And if you're joining us, please, by all means, ask us questions. We are happy to answer them for you. There is a procedure called, sending the letter of representation. This puts the insurance companies on notice that we represent you. So the insurance companies at that point in time should no longer be contacting you. They should be contacting your attorney. Now, they call you even after we've sent the letter of representation, or even after your attorney sent the letter of rep, then you need to let them know, I have an attorney and this is how they reach. And I promise you the calls will stop. So at that point in time, the insurance companies can then speak to us and we can help relieve some of that stress that many of you are taking. I mean, you've already been in an accident, you're injured, you're hurting, work is being affected. You don't want to be bothered with the insurance companies. We could arrange a recorded statement if they require it. And a recorded statement is basically the insurance company calling to ask what happened or what led to the accident and what were the conditions. So I do want to take a step back and try to give some tips for when we, if you are in a car accident. So God forbid you're in a car accident. Of course, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you and your passengers are okay. And then you want to contact the police. All right. Do you need a police report? You don't need it, legally speaking, but it makes your case day and night when you do have a police report, and the police officer can help take a statement as to what transpired for this car accident case. So another thing that's really important is documenting. If you don't document your case, it becomes he said, she said. Take pictures, take pictures, take pictures. So you want to take pictures of your car damages. You want to take pictures of any markings or bruising or bleeding that you have, of the surrounding area. You want to make sure that you're able to share with your attorney what exactly is. And I know sometimes Kelly will tell the client, Kelly, why don't you tell us what you tell the client when you want to know what kind of pain or injuries they're feeling? Is it like keeping a journal or analyzing their body from head to toe? What is something that you do to get to know what type of damages or injuries your client has obtained?
Sure. So usually I start off from the head to toe, make sure that we start off if they have any headaches, because sometimes when they're feeling neck or back pain, they don't think of the headache, but headaches can actually come from nerve damage from the body. So we want to make sure that we start from head to toe. Sometimes in a car accident, you feel like you get pushed, you get bruises either on your shoulder. So we want to make sure we document all of that information. And even if the injuries are not as prominent later on, or if they've healed, at least this way we know that it was something that they were suffering with at the beginning of the case. So that is usually what we will ask them.
Thank you, Kelly. So she does head and toe approach. So what she means is literally start with your head, write down any pain, injuries, or anything that's different after. And even if it's affecting your sleep or how you sit in a car, you need to report this. Time and time again, people call us a few days after the accident and they're like, hey, Naif, this is surprising to me. I felt fine. I felt fine after the accident. I didn't think everything was okay. We don't need to be an attorney. So I'm not going to be one of those people who's trying to get rich off the insurance company. Then they call back and they are in pain, right? Because guess what? Your body has adrenaline, your body has shock, your muscles tense up, and you're not going to feel a lot of these injuries for several hours or even days in some circumstances. And personal injury representation is not for getting rich, okay? You've been hurt, you've been damaged. It's about trying to make you as close to whole as you were prior to this incident. That's because that's only what's fair and what's just. When you see these people, recovering millions, think to yourself, really, what kind of tragedy did they suffer? What kind of catastrophic loss did this person endure in order to get the millions of dollars that you see advertised around town sometimes? So, yes, in the end, hopefully they're compensated, but really those kind of settlements are usually accompanied with catastrophic damages. Kelly, what would you say is your favorite part about working at a law firm or working at Mubarak Law? I'll let you do two answers, one for working with your clients and working in the legal field. What would you say is something that you really enjoy in both of those scenarios?
So specifically working with my clients, and the reason why I enjoy personal injury is because I'm able to help them during a very difficult time in their lives. Usually when clients come to us, they've either are in a lot of pain, have lost their job because they can't perform in their job anymore. And while it's a very stressful situation, and clients, at times do get, a little bit stressed out because of what's going on. This way I can help them and try to ease their stress by being able to handle everything with insurance companies, review their medical records. If I have any questions, I can just ask them and they don't have to worry about getting all their medical bills paid on their own. And this way, once the case settles, from the time that it settles, I make sure that I compromise their medical bills and try to reduce as much medical bills to get them as much recovery as possible.
Okay, but you kind of skipped the tough question here. What's your favorite part about working at my office at Mubarak Law, working, with us?
Sure. So if you know our office, we're pretty much a family. We all get along great. Naif has been amazing with our whole team, and he's very encouraging, especially for me on my end, because I'm a law student. He's always encouraging. If I have to attend an event, he always tells me, do what you need to do to grow. So to have someone that's your boss be that interested in what you're doing and continuing to push you, that's really important. And I think he does that for the rest of our staff as well.
I was not expecting such a nice answer, even though I was pushing for it, but I appreciate you. And like I said, we're happy to have you. So for those who are just tuning in, we are with Kelly Dominguez on our first series of Meet Our Team. And then we hope to bring in all of our team members over time so you get to know them and get to know the hardworking souls behind your case who truly do take it seriously, and they understand that, your family, your future, it's our priority. And I am so happy that we have the team that we do. So Kelly and I have been talking about car accident claims and what the process is like. So if you have questions, please let us know. And we've kind of talked about, you've been in an accident. Now this is what you document. What do we do when we start the case? So once the case is started, then it goes into like a treating phase. Kelly, can you explain to our viewers, what does it mean when somebody's actively treating?
Sure. So in the state of Florida, you have to seek treatment to make sure you can bring a claim. When you're actively treating means that anything that your doctors either sending you for MRIs, for physical therapy, to a chiro, to a neuro, you have to listen to your doctor's orders. That's probably the most important thing in your claim. If you are actively treating until the doctor says you are finished, from then we can take the case into a demand. But for me, probably the most important part is that our clients continue treatment until the doctors have decided that they no longer need treatment, or that the treatment is no longer helping their injuries because they're so severe.
Right. And there's a couple reasons why this is so critical. One, your health and your future with your situation. Your medical professionals know what's best for you, and what they tell you need to continue treatment, you should tell them or try to listen to them, and then at least notify them if the treatment's not working. Now, I'm not saying go forever treat and then have no results or feel worse, but you need to communicate with your medical professionals, with your doctors, and make sure that they are aware of your progress and you tell them how it's going. So that would be, like as Kelly said, one of our most important tips. Second to the police report is following your medical professional's advice. Another thing is being honest with us. So making sure you disclose everything to us, because nobody likes a surprise. I know I don't even think people like surprise parties. We don't like surprises in our cases. So Kelly, give me an example of what I mean by surprise, because our client forgot. It does happen. People live a lot of lives, and sometimes you just forget. But what do I mean by disclosing everything to your attorney and to your team?
So the way that I look at it is your attorney is pretty much your best friend and your team is your best friend. So anything, we are not here to judge, we're here to help. So if you have had priors, have you had a back injury, a neck injury, even if you've treated only a couple of times for it, it may not have been accident related, but if you did have that injury, what happens is the insurance companies run something that's called an ISO search, which pretty much pulls up any accident you've ever had before. It can be a workers' compensation, it can be automobile accident. And then when we are sending the demand, when I get back and offer it, we notice that it's very low. And I don't really understand why until I call the adjuster and he's like, he or she is like, oh, your client did not have had a prior. And in my end, I'm surprised and I have to act like I knew this. But the most important thing is that our client is very honest with us. That's the only way we can help you and make sure that we obtain the best recovery for you.
Right. So there's, just like in our immigration cases or anything, right? If your doctor or your lawyer is asking you a question, you need to tell them everything. So that way we can advocate for you. The worst thing that we could do is, set us up for failure or make us look embarrassed if we don't know something that's significant on your case that we asked you about and was not disclosed. So please make sure you speak to your attorney, speak to your case manager, and let them know the ins and outs of your life. And sometimes people leave out things like when they go to the grocery store, they can't carry certain bags. Like when I say document, I mean more than just damage on your car or bleeding injuries. We need you to tell us how your life is being affected. If you're not working out as often as you used to, if you're not spending time with family, if you have lost time with your spouse, these are all damages that we can claim in your case. Now, once the medical professional determines that you have done treated, what we do is we start to do the medical records requests, right? Kelly's gonna compile all the records from all the different hospitals or treating facilities. And Kelly, what is your biggest hurdle at this point in time when we wanna make the demand?
Sure. So the most important thing is that clients, like you stated, do document, especially where they're treating, because sometimes I'll prepare an entire demand and then I'll be reviewing the medical records and I noticed that a client treated at a specific facility and I didn't request those records because it was never disclosed to me. So usually by the time we start requesting medical records and medical bills, it takes anywhere between 2 weeks to 2.5 months. The hospitals really take a long time to release their records and they need special HIPAAs because they're so strict with the HIPAA regulations. So we want to make sure that we have plenty of time to be able to request everything. And if we have all the information at the beginning, once I start preparing the demand, it's just really adding your injuries and adding the damages, which are your medical bills. And this is the basis of where we start our demand.
Right. So I guess as you're treating, try to obtain copies of your medical bills. This might save time as we go for the demand. We compile a demand, we compile your list of damages or expenses, and we basically explain to them in writing why you have suffered and why you should be entitled to X amount of dollars. Now, anyone's recovery is going to be typically limited to the limits of the policy. When there are policy limits exhausted and you want to go after an individual or corporation, that may be possible, but typically the limits are the controlling black and white boundaries in several cases. So that's why if somebody hits you and you're hurt and you have $50,000 in medical bills, but they only have $10,000 bodily injury coverage, The maximum you're going to recover is that $10,000. So if there's one thing, just one thing you hear today, please, please, please call your car insurance and make sure you get uninsured motorist insurance, which is right? This means if there is an excess of bills, if their $10,000 policy didn't cover your medical expenses, you could pursue a claim. If somebody hits you and they don't have insurance or they don't have bodily injury insurance, you'll still be able to recover. I had a horrific accident one time, not me personally, but a client who was mangled on a motorcycle. And his damages were like $500,000 in medical bills, despite his leg injuries. I mean, just his financial damages. And the policy was, $75,000. So the maximum he was going to get was that $75,000 because we couldn't pursue anything else against the driver. So unless you have you're going to be limited, or you're basically trusting the other drivers on the road to have enough insurance coverage. So what I tell people is, if you love somebody, make sure they have insurance, because uninsured motorist insurance could make a disaster situation a lot better. So please make sure you contact your insurance company, your car insurance company, about this, because you want to make sure you and your family are covered. Today, I actually received like $50 back from Progressive. I think everything that's happening with the pandemic, it might be a good time to try to get additional coverage. It might be a good rates at this point in time. So once we make the demand, the insurance company will typically respond with an offer. Now, Kelly, if the offer is $1 or $1 million, what is our requirements as their legal representative?
Well, we have to notify the client regardless of what the offer is. It's up to the client's discretion. We obviously give them NIAF will give them the advice whether he recommends or doesn't recommend the settlement. But even if the client does accept the dollar, that is our job to accept that dollar. So
it's not our position to reject anything. I'm sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
At times, it's always the client's decision with any part of the case. That's what we make sure that I'm always following up with them, even while they're treating, to make sure that they know we're still here, even when they're actively treating. And then once it's in demand, I'll give them a call. Hey, the demand was sent out. And if we need an update, hey, I called the insurance adjuster to ask them what's going on with the demand. At all times, we want to make sure that our clients are involved in their case, because it is their case. And we, like NIAF said, are not allowed to accept a settlement without speaking to our clients first and they approving that settlement.
Right. So then let's say after negotiations, first offer, counter offer, we run it by you, calculate your bills, and typically come to a settlement. Most cases typically end pre-suit, meaning no suit is filed in the courts for litigation. If it's going to be filed suit, usually there's a liability issue, somebody not accepting, or the numbers are just not there. But once you file suit on any case, you can be prepared that it's going to be extended for 1.5 years, 2 years, probably minimum, given what needs to happen with discovery, mediation, and the trial dates and the backlog now. So that is going to probably even increase these backlogs with the courts. And since we're talking about litigation, I just want to mention another area. So personal injury is slip and fall or trip and fall. You're in a store or a restaurant and you slip on something and you hurt yourself. A lot of these times, these cases are going to be contested because there's issues of liability and how much of it was your fault, and in layman's terms, and how it could have been avoided. So, I mean, this is kind of the different areas of personal injury that we cover and handle. And we also do the dog bites, I think we mentioned, and we're doing that for, another one of our immigration clients who doesn't have a particular status here. And this is why it's important that people know that they do have options, though, and they do have rights. So as I mentioned earlier, this is our Meet Our Team segment today, where we met Kelly Dominguez, who has been working in personal injury for nearly 5 years, I guess combined experience, and close to it. And she's also a law student, and I think running for president or something at her, when she's not doing that or working at our office, she also got her master's degree and volunteering at all of our events. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Meet Our Team. Just takeaway points here is if you could follow us on social media, share this video, like and subscribe on YouTube. All of these get posted there. And let us know if you have any questions. And again, these car accident cases, there's no fee unless we recover, and there's no consultation fee. And I hope to see you guys next Thursday. If you like the 6:30 time slot, let us know. And or if you prefer the daytime, let us know. We're here, we're open, and communication is always key. Kelly, why don't you?
I'm sorry,
Do you want to say goodbye to everybody or good night?
All right. Goodbye, everyone. It was my pleasure being here on the Facebook Live with Nayef. If you have any questions, please give us a call. We can, if we don't handle a case that has to do with personal injury or immigration, we can always direct you to or give you a referral to an attorney that we know can handle your case. So we are always here to help in anything that we can. And if you see us at any events, please come by our table. It's pretty fun. We have a good time.
And we thank you, Kelly. And we hope to see you at these events in the near future, and hope everybody stays happy and healthy. And for those fasting, the last 10 days are here. You did it. And to my little sister, Russia, happy birthday to you. I love you. And my Irish twin, officially the same age now for the next 10 days. So thank you guys for watching. And we will see you guys next week. And let us know if you have any topics you'd like to discuss. And thank you again, Kelly. Good job.
Thank you. Have a great day.